You're listening to The Arms Room on the Vets on Media Network.
There's no way that's my fault. That was totally all of your fault.
He's like, I did everything right this time, but still.
Oh my gosh. All right. Welcome to the Arms Room with Glenn.
And John.
And Matt.
And Brian.
Oh my heavens. It's
Hey, you know what,
Brian
though?
doesn't have a headset.
Good for him. He got the music right because I was actually listening.
Were you?
Good job, Mason.
Good job, Mason.
Just gotta congratulate Mason on a
well
job well done this week.
Job
and
well
we
done.
still
And
laughed at him.
and
And
Mason turned 18 this week.
Oh,
Yay.
Yeah, I turned
watch out.
22. All right.
There's no
Oh,
way
wow.
you're 22.
17 going on 22.
Oh, okay.
He can
Congratulations.
stay out past 10 o'clock for these night fights.
Happy
No,
birthday.
just until the streetlights come on.
Oh,
Then
no. You gotta go back to bed. So, what'd your mom get you for your birthday?
I just got money for my birthday, which is fine with me.
cool story.
Right?
All right, moving on.
You were
That was
expecting
boring.
something lame?
He got
Well, I got money.
he got knitted jumper.
I got a onesie
little-
for
with
Christmas,
the little
Matt,
button
not my
for Christmas.
birthday.
Little
That was
buttons in
Christmas,
the
yeah.
back.
The zip-up
That was
onesie.
Christmas. I did enjoy that picture.
Do you even Facebook, bro?
I do.
So,
My onesie's on
I'm too busy
Facebook.
being an adult, Mason.
yeah, you.
So
Starting
this is-
forums
Yeah,
like
you.
schoolhouse
Too busy
operator.
being an adult. With the things we were laughing about when we first came on the air. That was you definitely being an adult.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about what's going on in the world. I went and saw American Sniper.
Me too.
I
Are we
also
going to
did
talk
this.
about the?
Well,
Is douchebag an acceptable word? Is that okay?
is that acceptable? Mason?
Are
Well,
we
here's the thing. We're giving
We're
him
gonna find out.
we're going to talk
Here's the
about
thing.
the douchebaggery of Michael Moore at this point. Then
Well,
on the same topic. If we talk about him, he gets what he wants. He hasn't been in the media forever.
I
He's
agree.
controversial. He
That's
wants
true.
attention.
I
let me
agree.
just say this: I think it would be hilarious if somebody like took him out from 1,000 meters at this point.
Hmm.
The Arms Room does neither condone nor endorse that statement.
I gotta take that whole segment out.
Can you go ahead and just edit that out? Here's what I thought about the movie, because I read the book and know a little bit about Chris Kyle outside of the book, and here's what I thought. If the point of the movie was to make a movie about a patriotic Texan who kind of on a lark becomes a SEAL and then does some pretty incredible things with his life, which is basically the story of Chris Kyle. A good American, a great American. If that's the point of the movie, then they did a good job. If the point of the movie was Kyle's actual story, then they did a terrible job.
I'm gonna mildly disagree with you. on that.
They didn't. They focused on things that didn't need to be focused on. They exaggerated the whole Mustafa sniper story. They didn't tell some of the better parts, I felt. And here's my biggest gripe about actually the whole movie, because I enjoyed the movie. It was a good movie. I left it. I'll tell you this, actually, before I go on to my biggest gripe. I will say that I was very proud of my fellow Americans in the movie theater. There was nothing but the absolute utmost respect the entire movie. At the end, nobody even budged. Everybody sat through, that end credit sequence where it goes through his funeral. Nobody even moved. No phones came on. No one stood up. No one budged, and the theater was packed. And nobody
They've
even
all been sold out.
nobody budged. And I was proud of my fellow Americans. That's not too often, that I can say that.
True story.
And so I was really, respect. Here's my biggest gripe, I think, against the whole thing. Because overall, it was a good show. Again, I think they focused and over dramatized a lot of the stuff. And when you have a guy who has an amazing life, you don't need to add other amazing things. Just tell his already amazing stuff, right? They didn't say anything about Chad Littlefield at the end, and that bothered me.
Oh,
Chris Kyle wasn't the only guy who died that day.
I agree with that.
That bothered me a lot. That they said, at the end, it fades to black. Chris Kyle was killed later that day, helping a fellow veteran. Doesn't say anything about Chad Littlefield. He was there too. And he was there a lot helping Chris Kyle do those things. And they didn't mention him at all. Now, I know the movie was about Chris Kyle. I get that. But, you can't just exclude a major point of the story and not expect people to notice. I feel, so that was my biggest gripe. How about you, John? What do you think?
I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was well done. What I liked about it was the fact that it did a very good job of showing both sides of that type of person.
It did.
Because most of us, and I'd say a fair portion of our listeners, have gone somewhere and done something, not to that level, but we've all gone somewhere and we've all done something, right?
Seen some stuff, man.
And when we come back, we left.
Concur.
We're different. We're all, in my opinion, and I got this from a good friend of mine, we're all damaged goods, right? And it's all about how we handle that damage that affects the rest of our lives and the rest of our families' lives.
Yeah.
And I think they did a very, very good job of showing that, because a lot of people don't understand that. There's a lot of families out there and just people in general that have never been through anything like that. I had the same
conversation with a friend of mine the other day who went and saw it and was telling me about it. I said, the thing I really appreciate that is that they showed that because there's a lot of comments we make, maybe we're a little bit more blunt, a little more upfront, honest about things than some of the other people in the society. And so people look at us, oh, that guy's such a, and they complain, and I like the fact that it showed that, because maybe it'll give a little bit of understanding, a little bit of appreciation of what some of us have gone through, what some of us deal with on a daily basis, and why it is that we are the way we are. And so if we like you enough to talk to you, just take that
give
for
us a
what
hug
it is.
and
Give me
let's go.
I just need a hug.
I need a hug, bro.
What do you think, Matt?
I was telling John this earlier. We've all seen a lot of war movies, and this was more of a movie about a guy who goes to war and comes back and goes to war and comes back, and you kind of see how it affects you over time. I only had one deployment. You've had a couple, right?
A couple.
You've had a couple.
Yeah.
And like each one is, different. I thought it did a good representation of just the full gamut, instead of just like, let's watch a movie. Like, I was thinking it's going to be 2.5 hours of Chris Kyle
slaying bodies.
We need the 60 hours.
Right.
All right, 160 roll credit.
Right.
But they didn't do that. I thought
it's like a human interest piece.
Yeah, it showed. I thought it was well done.
I thought it was really well done. Again, my only complaint really comes from just kind of the inaccuracies historically of the true story, but it's Hollywood, and I can accept that. So like I said, if they just wanted to succeed in telling a story about a great patriot Texan who becomes a SEAL and becomes a sniper and does some pretty incredible things, then they did a perfect job.
Hey, Glenn, otherwise it would have been a documentary. And
yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's a good movie.
It's true. Support the people who made it and the people who were in it, and of course the man whose life it's about. So go see it if you haven't seen it yet. It's definitely worth going to see. That's it.
Their advisors were on point too.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job.
I can't sit through most of those movies without like that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I was like a SEAL, but I think we can tell gear problems and whatnot.
There was a lot of good squared away gear.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cool, authentic stuff.
M9 bag in there.
Saw an M9 bag. That was very cool.
Yeah, their medic.
Roger Sergeant, Corps Specialist rank.
Right. But yeah, their corpsman had like all the right gear and stuff.
It was pretty cool. I liked looking at the kit in the movies because it was good. It was all pretty dialed in. So that was cool. Another thing I want to talk about before we get on to our other topic, and that is I posted up on our Facebook page last week, and a lot of people ask us who the band is that plays the Star Spangled Banner at the end of our show. And the band is called Madison Rising, and I posted up a link to that video with that song. It's madisonrising.com. You can go check them out, but they are the ones who play the Star Spangled Banner at the end of the Arms Room show. And this week at SHOT Show, we're gonna hang out with them.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're gonna
we're
gonna meet the Madison Rising folks.
They are also available on iTunes.
Yes.
It's like $10 for their album. They have one full-length album. And
I
then they
downloaded their
also
album off of Amazon for like $8.
Okay. So
it's worth downloading. It's great music.
Yeah.
It really is.
And they also have a really good rendition of the Marines hymn.
They have a wide diversity of music.
Yeah.
Like on one album, you've got everything from like metal to like punk to kind of easy listening to like almost country twang kind of music. I mean, it's a really good album. I highly, highly recommend it. And you can find that on MadisonRising.com. Like I said, I downloaded it off of Amazon for $9 or something. So check out Madison Rising. Very, very cool. Like I said, we get a lot of questions about it, so I wanted to mention that because they do such a good job with that Star Spangled Banner at the end. So I always like it when people show good respect to that. And they're not trying to oversing the song.
Yeah.
The song is good enough as it is. You don't need to oversing it.
Are you talking about when people like extend and really? So
Yeah.
Do you want to know why that is? It's normally at sporting events, right?
Yeah.
When they do this stuff. That's because it used to coincide with jet flyovers. And if the jets, depending on how far out they are, they have a coordinator saying like, slow it down,
Hold
or
that
speed
note.
it up, or
Hold that note.
draw it out. You know, they're 10 seconds out. So,
I learned
Slow it
something
down.
today. Thank you.
and that's why. But you don't see them doing that anymore
Sports.
because the military doesn't do flyovers anymore.
Is that a security issue?
I think it's a fuel budget money
Budget issue.
Yeah, I think it's a
Yeah.
money problem.
Or they're like, there's a lot of games going on.
You can't
Every
fly
single
over all of
weekend.
them.
Budget cuts.
Yeah,
Just do a countrywide tour. Be like, we'll be there in 10.
All right. So today's topics, plural.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do with this show. So this show was supposed to be at the SHOT Show.
But
But we kind of got
about that.
got
So,
screwed
by the way,
a little
Adam.
on
Well, I won't go so far as to say we got screwed. I will go
Okay.
so far as to say that we were not properly informed.
we were not on point.
Okay.
I will accept.
There's a lot of.
are we going to
there's a
call
lot of
this
blame.
a dissemination of information issue again? Because
Yes, this is the dissemination of information issue again. Basically, we didn't get our media pass to
Nope.
SHOT Show, so we're going as Independence Training and Red
And Red
Wire. And we didn't get our media pass. Otherwise, we would be there today at Media Day, shooting and touching all the cool new guns and stuff. But
Next year.
next year we'll make it happen. So, anyways, we're going to do this live from there. We're still going to do next week. We'll have our SHOT Show report.
Yeah.
So next week we're going to be doing SHOT Show report. We're going to talk about all the cool new stuff. I'm excited about already some of the cool stuff I'm seeing coming up on emails and all that. We're just before the show, we're looking at the new Magpul polymer Glock magazines, which of course has like been a long time coming. And the greatest thing about them isn't so much as they're Magpul Glock magazines.
It's half the price
It's that
of
they're
OEM.
$16.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the great part about it. And if they're just as reliable as PMags, then that's good enough for me.
Magpul, if you're listening, Smith & Wesson Mags next, please.
Hopefully, hey, the MP's popular enough.
The MMP's popular enough.
So there's already been some really cool stuff I've seen. We've got some great appointments. We'll be hanging out with the Article 15 Matt Best guys. We're going to be hanging out
I
at
hope your livers are
the.
ready.
We're going to be hanging out. I'm designated driver. Is that why everyone's looking at me?
Yeah, you're designated walker, bro.
Designated
You have
walker.
to
Make sure you guys
put us-
don't fall into the highway on the way back
Yeah.
to the hotel.
Yeah.
Someone's
that's
got to
good.
hold my hair.
Am I pretty? yes, Mason, you're very pretty.
Yes, you're still pretty. Okay, get it out, buddy. Then we're going to be
It's okay.
we're going to be going to the Ranger Up party and hanging out with those guys.
Oh,
Ouch.
I hope you brought your Ranger panties.
We've got
I'm actually going to buy a new pair today.
we've got some cool stuff. We got some
Can't go
cool
in with stinky
appointments.
ones.
Going to be seeing some really cool new products, so we're very excited about that. So next week we're going to be telling all these wonderful stories and talking about all the cool stuff we saw at SHOT Show and kind of keeping everyone up to date.
Half
on
of us will
newest and
probably
greatest.
still be hungover.
I
don't
will not be hungover. As a
I
matter of
don't-
fact, I'll be in perfect health.
I don't recover as well as I used to.
I have a feeling Matt's going to be here listening to your stories and just be like, no,
That
I did
happened?
not.
I did not
What?
do
No,
that.
I did not.
I don't remember that day at all.
Oh my!
I have
heavens.
4 ID bags I'm bringing with me. Just remember.
It's a good call.
Oh,
buddy.
good man.
I
Is
got
that
you covered.
is
I
that
got you
real?
covered.
Are you really doing that?
Yeah.
Is that
We're
for
going-
real?
are we-
Are we going to Vegas?
Outstanding.
What's going to happen is
Yeah, because Mason clearly doesn't retain water.
anything we do after the show, I'm basically going to have to put a saline lock in Matt before we. Wait a minute, Matt, come back. Got to put your saline lock in.
Ah.
There you. That's a good idea, actually. Oh, and if you would please wear the GoPro.
Where's the
Just wear the GoPro.
I
Get
need
a
a body
backpack with a
cam.
battery in it and wear the GoPro.
Matt? Oh.
That would be rated at least NC-17.
What we have to do is
That's
anytime we got to do
offending.
something, we're going to have to take Matt and we're going to have to remove all independence training materials.
Yeah.
So that we can't, no one can associate Matt.
I don't know why you guys think of this like
Independence
crazy party
training.
animal.
I've seen the quail man.
I wonder.
Oh.
So, anyways, so since we're not at the SHOT Show and we're not doing that show, what we did is each of us picked a topic that we're all gonna
Basically, discuss for a few minutes.
we're all gonna talk about for about 10 minutes. All right, we're each gonna pick a topic. Just remember, no biting, no slapping, no cursing, no whatever.
gunfights.
It's
no
funny-
studio.
no fist
It's
fights,
funny
no
you should
knife
mention
fights.
that because my topic is no biting.
No biting. So we're gonna start. We're gonna start with my topic, which what is my topic? I texted you guys my topic. I forgot.
No, you
No, you
didn't.
didn't.
Diversity.
Oh yeah, it was
Diversity and
diversity and training.
Oh yeah,
Yes, you
diversity and
did.
training.
Diversity.
I'm trying to look up my own topic. I forgot, man. So yeah, my topic is diversity and training. Okay, so here we go. We've got 10 minutes.
Synchronized watches.
We got synchronized.
Mark.
Timer.
I got my timer right here. Here we go. Boom.
It'll be right on the break.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we're going to talk about diversity and training. And here's my biggest problem with what goes on in training out there today. What biggest problem that goes on in training, especially with any kind, but let's talk about shooting training for a second, is that people get fixated on one thing. There are tons of people out there who know how to shoot, no idea how to talk to people, no idea how to fight, no idea how to get someone's hands off of you, no idea how to deal with a blade, no idea how to run, or they're 300 freaking pounds and they can't run if their life depended on it, and they think they're going to rely on a gun to save their life. When in all reality, physical fitness is the most important aspect you possibly ever have in self-defense. So whether it's self-defense or any kind of training, even physical training, right? Guys go to the gym and what do? They lift to get big, right? So they have all this strength and they have no idea how to use it. Right? They don't know how to actually apply that strength, or they don't build the right muscle groups, or they don't build all the muscle groups, or they're not whole body strong, if you know what I mean.
No
like,
endurance. Just,
they don't
I
have
can lift
endurance.
heavy things, but I can't take it anywhere.
And so it's just, it's whatever kind of training you're doing, it's no diversity in training. That's my biggest complaint against the training world.
You got 8 more minutes.
No diversity. Oh, you guys aren't going to discuss?
I'm actually
like that,
basically
no,
just laid it
go.
all
I'm a
out.
little surprised that his
Wow,
biggest
go.
issue isn't the number of people teaching things that they have no idea what they're teaching. So
You know what though? That sucks, but that all wraps into the diversity in
YouTube
training
operators.
thing. Yeah.
YouTube operators.
That all boils down to the diversity in training thing, where those guys as instructors don't have any diversity in training.
Yeah.
Because they were a Marine, or they were a soldier, or they were a whoever, whenever, wherever, and they learned a couple of things one time. Maybe they were in combat a couple times. But just because you were in combat once doesn't necessarily mean that you are now a combat freaking master. Right? Doesn't mean you know everything there is to know about combat. Anybody who's actually really been there and done that will be the first guy that will typically admit that. You know,
Well,
I mean, what did you say? What did your Ranger buddy say, Matt?
Those that lack experience make up for the loudest.
You know, and it's like I
There's
can.
a buddy in 5th group that said that.
Oh, he's a group guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit that even though it's something I do for a living, I am the farthest from being any kind of combat master and knowing everything there is to
That's
know
the
about
other-
but how
gunfighting.
does
That's
that
the
even
other
apply
thing.
to the civilian world anyway?
That's part of the issue is, again, there's no diversity in training. So you'll have these, you have a lot of military guys, a lot of guys we hang around with who they've got their military training, and then they're like, okay, cool, now I'm going to defend my home, or now I'm going to.
And they show up to a CCW class in full kit.
in full kit.
In
Like,
full
ready
kit,
to
yeah.
jump
You know
out
what?
of
It's a
helicopter.
little
Yeah, don't even
different
get me
on the-
started on
on the-
instructors in full kit, dude.
There you go.
Makes
On
me
the-
want to.
I always tell
Punch
them, like,
people.
dude, just sell out.
Just
sell
sell-
out.
just-
That's what Matt tells me to do. Sell out. Start showing up in full kit all the time.
Like, welcome to the IFAC class. I hope you brought your body armor. Some lady's like, I just want to learn how to stop my daughter from going,
How can you do that while taking rounds?
Yeah. How are you going to do that when you're under fire?
well, what if
Because when I was in Vietnam,
My daughter-
slaying bodies and
my daughter's allergic
Mekong
to
Delta.
peanuts? What you're going to need to do is get an AR, first of all right?
So that's the biggest problem, is that there's nobody looking at it from an actual real world standpoint. Now, I shouldn't say nobody,
what you
because
point
there are
out, I
some
want to
people doing it.
touch on that real quick, is like, I was in the military for X amount of years, and I was in this unit, and I did all this cool stuff. And then you get out and you're just teaching people how to kill people, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But like, you don't come at it from
Civilian
Having-
liability.
having
there.
your-
Yeah. Like,
having your door
hey,
kicked
just
in
because
is-
you know,
Yeah, having your door kicked in is different than kicking somebody else's door in.
right. And like, depending on what's on your arm or your chest
Yeah.
will give you or not give you authority to do those things.
Right.
There's some places where you're not going to, it's just not
Retiring
on
from the
table.
military does not mean you know how to kill people either. Like, people don't understand. Everyone in the military
True
is not
story.
this
They're not a bunch of
insane
high
body
speed, low
slang.
drag.
But the
We have
commercial,
cooks,
but the
and we have
commercial said,
clerks, and we have the whole gambit, and we even have these things called MPs that don't do anything except run tickets for people.
Shut up! I get back on that board, MP.
Exactly.
Well, and here's the thing: even guys who've been deployed in combat, even
Yeah,
guys
it's
who've
vol-
had
it's
multiple
volume.
tours
It's
overseas,
It's volume
in
of
combat,
fire.
Even then, look at guys from Afghanistan, right? I mean, how far away was your typical engagement?
Far.
pretty freaking far, right? Now switch to Iraq. How far away was your typical engagement?
Much closer.
Much closer. Okay.
Much
So you have two
closer.
guys just from different combat theaters who have entirely different combat type experiences. I'm not saying that none of that is applicable. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there's no diversity in the training world, because then and especially in training, we have so many vets in training.
People focus on one skill set. Right?
Yeah. Shooting.
And I was guilty. I was not even
shoot.
that. Not even that. I was very
All
guilty of this up until it was about halfway through this year. We were doing that advanced carbine class up in Chino Valley.
Yeah.
And I was running my red dot, and I had done nothing but red dot fire with my rifle for years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I noticed that morning very quickly that my accuracy was not where it needed to be, that I was not shooting as well as I know I could. I took my dot off and I ran the rest of that day with irons. And it's simple stuff like that. People get focused on, I need to learn how to run my AR with a micro dot, and that's all I need to know.
Right.
So they're not looking to diversify their own
As long as
training.
you got a pocket full of batteries.
Batteries dying.
You know, they're not looking to
Equipment
upgrade their
breaks.
own training or the gun safe roundup. You know, I
That
spent a
was
lot
so
of
much fun, dude.
I spend a lot of time on my AR. I shot another advanced carbine course this year with my Mini 14 because I'd never run that thing, and I'm like, you know, it's in my safe. I need to know how to use this
Let's
thing
talk
effectively.
about combine the two, diversity training and then using your weapons. How about this? Everybody that, you know, the rifle classes are sexy. Everybody wants to get into the rifle classes.
That's true.
I don't carry a rifle every day. I don't have the capability to carry a rifle every day. I'm not kicking in other people's doors anymore. I carry a handgun every day. Why would I not want to take more handgun training and spend more time
Outside of 3 yards,
Yeah.
there's another example of most handgun classes are all of
Super
them are
up close.
taught
All day long.
within 10 yards.
Ugh.
And that's good because we go back to our law of averages, right? Law of
Right, yeah,
averages
right.
says that your typical, civilian
But
engagements can be up close and personal.
But at the same time, there's no such thing as the
But
average.
at the same time there's no such thing as the average gunfight.
And
So
if you can make those same hits at 25 and 30 yards,
It's just going to make you better up close.
you're better up here than you could be there.
I mean, the further the distance, the more important the fundamentals are. Right?
Yeah. And once you master the
And so-
fundamentals,
And so
are
now
dumb.
once we've got
They
into
don't look
handguns, let's go back to the diversity training. Now you need to learn how to create distance so you can get the handgun out of the holster. It's a tool. You need to put it into effect.
and you need to know when is the appropriate time to not draw the handgun. Because here's the fact, right? And I'm about to steal a quote from our good friend Craig Douglas. Part of the idea of handgun fights is there's an inappropriate timing and an inappropriate extension, right? And I'm taking that from Craig Douglas. from
inappropriate
Shivers.
timing, inappropriate extension.
I've never met the guy, but Glenn, he's stabbing me in the face.
Pretty much stabbing in your face. Better do something about it. So
We love you, Craig.
inappropriate timing, inappropriate
Laugh when he
extension.
kicks in this door one day.
That's it. Now, that is
Him
one
and
dude I
Sonny.
do fear. I don't fear Sonny because he can kick in my door.
I'm
but
gonna
Craig
show
Douglas
you
kicking in my
extension.
door. I'm going to throw all you guys between me and him.
Nope,
I'm
I'm
going to hope you weaken him by the time
I'm
he
just
gets
gonna
to me.
lay down.
So,
All right, 2 minutes left for this.
So a guy like Craig, by the way, is a guy that brings in tons of diversity into a
Yeah,
training.
dude.
Not everything, because he focuses on what he knows. He knows close quarters engagement and he knows handgun fighting and
Yep.
blades, right? That's what he deals with. And he's all about Uno solo because he spent all his time undercover. So it's like, it's just me. I'm going to be in a building. I'm going to be in a vehicle. I'm going to be by myself. And that's what you're going to learn. That's what I'm going to teach you how to do is be by yourself and do everything really, really close.
Which is pretty much how it rolls as a civilian.
Which is pretty much how it rolls as a civilian. And we see this more and more and more, as we watch body cam videos from cops, as we watch, and by the way, cops are civilians. Shocking. If you didn't know that before, you know that now. All right. But as civilian engagements, right? I mean, we see
True
this
story.
with cop body cams and dash cams. We see it with, riot type situations and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be close. But does that mean that we shouldn't now focus on long range pistol engagements? Does it mean we shouldn't ever focus on carbine? Of course not. We should definitely do some carbine work. We should know
if
how
I
to-
could
how to
use my
our gun.
carbine, I'm going to prefer to have it just on a day-to-day basis.
But isn't it more important to know how to talk to people and how to disengage from a situation, how to create distance? I always like how Brian teaches it in his combatives classes about like a kind of a violent disengagement, just like getting out of it and then getting away from it.
It's also important when you talk about managing the contact. If I can avoid the fight in the first place, I've won. People are like, "Oh, that guy, he pushed out." Dude, I got a wife and kids at home.
What is winning?
Dude, I got a wife and kids at home. If I get home and I can continue to pay my bills, then I have won. So y'all can kiss my.
That's winning.
That's
By the
winning.
way.
Getting away.
That's it. What is winning?
Getting away, whether it's through violence or through talk, is winning.
And that's
Period.
the problem.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem with this whole diversity of training thing is people's idea of winning is completely skewed. Everyone's idea of winning is freaking Die
Slaying a
Hard and Black Hawk
Yeah.
Down movies.
So
If
let
you
me
come
win
to
this
class
fight.
and all you want to learn how to do is kill people, you should probably see a psychiatrist.
Well, here's another deal. Let me win
and
this
our
fight.
classes, by the way, are probably not for you.
Yeah, that's
not
true.
all we teach.
But let me win this fight and then take it too far because I'm going to win this fight.
Right.
And now I'm
Ego.
spending
and
some
now you
time in
just
jail.
murdered somebody.
Yeah.
Self-defense, and now I'm in jail.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
we're
was the
taking a
same-
break.
the
You
same
won.
solution.
Good job, bro.
All right. My time's up, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to go to John. We're
Yeah.
going to go John's topic. All right, so we're
You're
going
going to
to
love this one.
take a break.
Oh,
we're going to
no.
come back. It's probably going to get
Maybe you should go
weird.
the other way.
You are listening to the Arms Room.
Thriving business and help employ local veterans. The Vetraplex Handyman Construction and Landscape business is the opportunity you've been waiting for. The Vetraplex is your gateway to an affordable startup business with 0% financing for qualifying owners. By owning a Vetraplex franchise, you will be hiring veterans, providing them both income and opportunity, while at the same time providing your customers a way to say, thank you for your service to our nation's veterans. For more information, visit vetraplex.org. Again, that's vetraplex.org or call 928-284-2022.
Breaker, 19. How about that bandit? You got them ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in your life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face to face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
You're listening to The Arms Room on the Vets on Media Network.
All right, you're back on the Arms Room. We're talking about whatever the heck we want.
Stuff.
Pretty much. Stuff and things.
So
If you're watching on YouTube, you got a show today.
Yeah. So we started talking about diversity and training. I have my 10 minutes. My 10 minutes is up. So we're going to start John's 10 minutes and go.
Myths and misconceptions.
All right.
So I am still in the National Guard, and this weekend we had to do all of our weapons calls.
Can't believe you just admitted that on the air.
I don't care. Screw you guys.
We can go back later and edit that out.
Okay. So you're cutting into my time.
Oh, sorry.
Shut up.
Sorry. I'll give you back that 2 seconds.
Okay. So we're on the
Story of
pistol
his life.
range on the new combat pistol qualification course. And I'm helping this young lieutenant try to qualify with a pistol because I kind of know what I'm doing when it comes to helping people do these things.
Mhm.
And I
Some
overhear
experience
this
there.
captain trying to explain to a medic how to shoot a pistol.
Blind leading the blind there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whoa.
So,
Who said
so
that?
he says, he tells this kid, he's like, hey, just think about how far you can throw a baseball.
Okay.
Now I'm paying attention.
Okay. You had my interest. Now you have my attention.
He goes, well, that's how this thing shoots. He's like, it doesn't shoot very far. So that far target, which by the way is 25 yards. He's like, if you aim for the top edge of the head, you'll hit them in the chest.
Whoa, because the muzzle velocity.
Officers.
So,
excuse me.
If you don't know what you're talking about, shut your mouth and stop spewing garbage.
But the problem is he probably did think he knew what he was talking about.
That's the problem.
That medic was probably smart enough to be like, "You're full of bullshit," but I'll entertain this.
Yeah, I hope so. So that's my thing is if you don't understand and you don't know what you're talking about, stop spreading the myths and misconceptions about the entire gun world or anything for that matter.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate. Here's the biggest problem with myths and misconceptions is that most people don't know what the right thing is. How many people come through our shotgun classes still to this day after the internet has been available for like ever, right?
Yeah,
I know this is going.
And they still think that, you know,
Buckshot
you can
fills a doorway.
Yeah, that you shoot buckshot at a doorway inside a room. They're gonna blow his arm right off, man. And you just rack that shotgun, man.
Hey, man.
And that'll scare him off, man. And that doesn't scare him off. God, man,
Now,
just freaking shoot him right there in the doorway, blow him in half, honey. Just
See,
shoot.
there's another-
Whenever I'm gone, you just shoot the shotgun at the doorway, baby.
There's another myth and misconception. Every time we talk about somebody that's dumb, we always give them a southern accent and make them sound like a redneck or a hillbilly.
It's because you're from Virginia.
It's because we're talking about guns. I'm just kidding. And whenever there's an issue with guns,
This is a valid point.
To our southern listeners, I am
The South.
kind of
Well, like,
sorry.
we're in South-
Virginia, North Carolina area.
Virginia or West Virginia?
here's a funny story for you, Matt.
West
He
Virginia.
literally, he grew up like
Do you have
15 minutes
electricity out
away
there?
from where my wife grew up.
It's a little bit further than
They're
that.
like neighbors.
You should look at a map.
Okay.
I was hoping he'd say West
Anyhow,
Virginia.
So back to the other thing. The biggest problem with this and misconceptions is that this stuff is spread by quote unquote experts, by the gun store, by the gun store
Stop
workers,
spreading it.
by cops. I mean, you know how many people we have coming to our class. And again, I'm not making fun of cops. So don't take this the wrong way, cop listeners. But when we have, you know, we'll have
Take this
students
the
who
wrong
come
way,
in and they're
cop.
like, well, my neighbor is a cop and he said that I should do this. And I'm like, please don't do that. Maybe he can do that based on
His
SOPs
authority.
or his authority.
Wearing a badge.
But
And
you cannot do that. That
what
is
I'm
illegal.
getting
Don't
at,
do
what
that.
I'm getting at is if you're going to tell someone, if you're going to give someone information that could be vital to their survival,
Yeah.
please, for the love of God, make sure that you know what you're actually talking about and stop perpetuating, which is why we still have this problem, is because
Yep.
people still perpetuate these myths and misconceptions.
They hear something and then they spread it.
Exactly.
how many of those people?
But at
did
the
this
same
shot
time, like,
show?
how would they know it's wrong? That's the
That's
problem.
why.
within
That's
itself.
why you
That
do
just
your
sucks.
own
It-
due diligence.
And that's what I'm kind of playing devil's advocate on.
So,
is
like,
you have to do
it
your
gets
own
spread
due
are you
around.
saying
diligence.
people should research things that
Yes.
people tell them before
You mean
they
some
believe
some
it?
real
Personal
training?
responsibility, you know.
Well, so I'll play devil's advocate again and say
Oh my
this:
God.
when people come to our classes, what do they expect to hear? They expect to hear the truth, right?
Yeah.
When they come to our CCW class, for example, they expect to hear the legitimate, good truth about lethal force engagements and use of force and all that, right?
Yes.
But there are still people out there in our fine state of Arizona and other states who are teaching CCW classes who have no idea what the heck they're talking about.
It's
They
true.
haven't researched. They're still just regurgitating.
That's
So here's
why
the problem.
That's why people themselves have to do it.
But that's
for
why
themselves.
they pay us.
It goes back to diversity and training too. I mean, if you're out there doing it and experiencing it, you're going to learn those things. Research it, internet it. You know, it's like I was talking to a guy the other day. He's talking about home security and things like that. We're talking about I'm asking him how many times you fired the gun. How good are you? He's like, I put plenty of rounds downrange with my 357. I'm good with that. So we're talking about, you know, SOPs for me and my family when we come home. If the door's open, if the you know,
yeah.
and I told him, I said, if I pull in the driveway and my whole family's in the van and my front door's open, I'm going to back out on the street and call the cops from there. He's like, really? You're not going to go check it out? I was like, why would
Hell no.
why would I walk in there without backup on the way and get myself shot so that my wife and kids are in the van
All
waiting
over-
for the bad guy to come out?
all over
locked and
property.
I own property. And you guys have seen my
It's
property.
for property. There's no life in there that he's protecting.
Yep.
He's not stealing your goldfish.
And he's like, but you're a firearms instructor and you're a combat vet. And I was like, exactly.
That's why.
Smarter than
I'm
that.
not going to go in there.
Two-way ranges suck. So, but yeah, it just, that whole thing.
So how does somebody know then if they're researching things that even what they're reading online is true?
You have to. Oh my God.
because
Why are you
we
making
tell them
me
that
think
it's
about
this is a good.
Okay,
this is
so
a good
here's-
question because whenever
here's
you
the answer
research
to that.
anything,
Find,
Here's the
find,
answer.
find
You get a
something when they
blog.
tell you something and you research it and like, oh wow, he knows what he's talking about. Oh hey, I heard this other thing. Hey Glenn, John, Brian, I heard this thing. What do you
Right.
think about that? And you're like, oh yeah, it's pretty.
It's not
accurate.
it's not just about doing research because you're going to find all of that misinformation out there too.
Yeah.
So you can't just do a small amount of research, right? You have to look at everything, get it from as many sources as you can, and then you basically find your own truth. And it's the same thing with history books. Take history books, for example. History is written by those who win, right? The other side of that story never gets told. Now, there are parts of that story that are told if you go and you do research and you find old journals or other firsthand accounts and stuff.
So you're saying Hitler wasn't a bad guy?
I didn't say that.
That's what I got.
Actually,
You're saying he was just misunderstood.
Actually, right up until the point where he started his
bad part. So
genocide. That's the word I was looking for. Up
when he was
until he
born?
started his genocide, he was actually very good for the country of Germany.
For their economy.
For their economy, yeah.
So, but you have to look at you have to get as much information as possible about a subject to know as much as you can about that subject.
Yeah.
And you'll be able, eventually you'll get to the point to where when someone says something, you'll be like,
that doesn't sound
full of.
Here's another one for you. If the guy you're asking always has an answer and is never willing to be like, I'm not sure, wrong guy. Or maybe he's the man. Maybe he
really does know everything, but
everything
9 times out of 10.
The odds are, that's the cool thing about our company is any one of us will be like, I'm not sure, but we've got so many people with such a diverse background in our company that, independence training, we're just like, hold on a second. Let me call, whoever it is on whatever
that
it
answer
is
for you.
Let me call Matt and I'll tell you exactly how to block off that IV or clog that artery, whatever it is you're trying to do.
Thank God you're the medical
Thank
instructor.
goodness that Brian is not a medical instructor. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
He just causes injuries. He doesn't have to fix them.
So make holes.
So here's an issue with the misconception idea is that people aren't valuing this topic in the same way that they should.
Yeah.
So someone comes to take a class to learn how to shoot. Well, that's fine. That's just shooting. It's fine. If you're coming to a class to learn or you're training, maybe you're not even at class, you're training, you're learning whatever, and you're learning about the taking of life, or in Matt's case, how to save a life, and you're learning about these things, and you're not putting due diligence into your research and study, then you're failing.
Yeah.
You need to take it a little bit more seriously. And that's the biggest problem we see with, whether it's civilian engagements or law enforcement engagements or whatever in self-defense stuff, and why so many people in the end lose, don't accomplish their task. And I think that's really where the whole misconception thing comes into the training world, is people just don't take it seriously enough. Yeah. They take one guy.
They go out because they want to do an
in.
experience. They want someone to show them something new and something cool. And then they go back and on Monday morning at the office, they're like, oh yeah, I learned this cool stuff this weekend at the gun range, So you're right. The majority of people.
And then there's also a difference between book knowledge and actual knowledge,
and
just like anything else.
Yeah.
So I learned this really cool stuff. I learned about the gun. Can you apply them?
Yeah.
At 10 meters, can you still hit the target?
I read a really cool book about EOD one time. And then I realized that 80% of that information was there's the right way and there's the real way.
Did it have words in it, or is it just like a coloring?
It's a picture book.
Picture book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wore a bomb suit and I watched The Hurt Locker twice.
You're basically
You
EOD.
suffer.
Let's do this.
Drop the mic.
That should be our next topic, the Hurt Locker. John's
All right.
favorite
Maybe
movie.
I should change my topic to I'm basically infantry.
All right. John's out of time.
Please don't.
Here
I'm
we
sorry.
go. Matt, ready?
Yes.
Go.
Physical fitness.
Yes, I knew that.
Oh my God.
All right. So here, check us out.
Okay, I'm checking.
So
Show the six pack.
So like so many people, it's holidays. We're just around the corner. I have a 4-pack from the top.
Excuses
I have a
already
4-pack. I'll
start.
take my shirt off. I have no qualms about it.
You'll see in
Vegas. You will see in Vegas.
It's scary how much you're not inhibited.
I think that goes directly with how much
male genitalia you've seen in your life.
So like everybody think like you said, I think it was you or Brian said that like like, I'll rely on my gun to get me through the apocalypse. It's like, if you can't fit through like a hole in the wall after like your house explodes,
That's like that, man. I'm just gonna stay here in one place and shoot people.
When, there's 6 of them closing distance and I don't have enough energy to break contact.
It's my turn. It's my turn.
Hey.
All right.
I have to mute everyone else's mic.
Yeah, mute everybody else's mic.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Matt.
So
I don't want to talk over you, Mike.
A lot of people
I don't want to talk over
think
you, Mike.
guns are it, and
I don't want to interrupt you, Matt. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
I can mute his mic.
Go, Matt.
You know, I don't want to say it anymore. A lot
I don't even want to talk anymore.
I swear to God, guys.
Totally.
All right, hey,
You know what? Here's my 10 minutes. Here's my 10 minutes. Watch.
You're like a medic.
Hey, you're talking over my time. I have 10 minutes.
9 minutes of silence now.
9 minutes. 9 minutes to go.
That clock's.
I know it doesn't work.
I know. We're gonna be here a long time.
I think it's like, you know, people want to learn how to shoot, and then they want to learn how to, you know, do all this crazy stuff with their guns, but then they don't know anything about medicine, and they don't know anything about, like, hey, this guy just jumped on my back, or hey, like, this guy's attacking me with his hands, and I might not be able to legally justify shooting him in the face, but I don't know what else to do.
Or even have the distance to shoot him.
Right. Or, I mean,
Okay.
oh,
so-
I have all my guns, but they don't know how to clean and gut an animal. And I'm just going to shoot these things in the apocalypse, and that's how I'm going to.
Or even how
Well,
to
if you-
clean said
I'm not
weapon.
done.
if you look at the fitness part of it, which is where this started.
Are you sure?
You see guys, I think so. You see guys that show up to these classes, and we do some fairly physical things from time to time in some of our classes, and you see these guys trying to accomplish these things, and they're simple things like run 25 yards and engage a target.
And they might be able to run those 25 yards,
But
and they
then-
might be able to shoot, but it's not as
Exactly. There's
easy
no- yeah.
as you could have had it done.
So
then
you
you
have
gotta
to
again
you have
put
to
it
look
forward.
at it
And
that way.
again,
And the other thing is, like, everyone's an expert on fitness.
Yeah.
Everyone is an expert
Everyone
on
is.
fitness.
You're right.
enough.
That's all I got. That's all I got is just a giant exhale. Just because no matter what you do, like, there's people will be like, oh, you can only absorb 35, you know, so many grams of protein in a certain, like, absolutely not true. Everybody's different. That's like the general thing is everybody's different. There is no set this. And like every month, some new study comes out completely disproving the last general held theory that was disproved from the one before that.
Right.
You know, and it's like everybody's an expert on like shooting, fitness. What's the other thing everybody's an expert on? Sports.
oh yeah,
driving.
armchair quarterbacking.
Yeah, there's like a handful of things everybody is an expert on, and it's like guns.
I was watching
Fighting, driving, and the other thing that
Yeah,
we physically
yeah.
do.
I like because I've done a little bit of fighting.
Heavy grunting.
Not just on the street.
Just
but
a little.
in the
How
ring.
exhausting is that? How exhausting
It's
is a fight?
extremely
Even when
exhausting.
you're
But,
not like fighting, not a street fight fighting for your life.
No,
Even just like a hey,
just a
let's just
competition.
roll for a couple minutes.
Yeah, dude, we
Something
rolled on a
exhausting.
mat for like 5 minutes, maybe
Yeah.
3 to 5 minutes.
Dead.
We got done, and I was exhausted.
Yeah. Now imagine your day. As soon
And
as you
then-
get an
and he's
opening,
got a
you
buddy.
can stab him, or you can stab
Yeah.
him, or you can shoot. Like
Sorry.
at the first open, like you can't just outskill some guy who's in way better shape than you.
No, it's
I
true.
would rather be in
I've
physical
won.
shape and
I've
not
many fights.
is
I've
my
won
top. I will
I'm-
talk through. No, but I will talk through yours. I would rather be in like outstanding physical shape and have no, you know, firearms training. I'd rather have no training and just be like outstanding physical shape, because if you have to roll with someone, you can outlast them.
Yeah.
If you can run away from.
Yeah, but
something.
see, I
Like, you
still
can-
think it's a mix.
I'd rather find
right. No,
happy
it is a
medium.
mix.
Definitely a
But if
mix.
you had to have one or the other, like, would you rather be the best shooter in the world in 400 pounds?
I would rather always be in good physical fitness. And I'm going to
There you
tell you, I'll tell you why I'm so passionate about physical fitness, because physical fitness has literally saved my life. Literally dead without good physical fitness, alive because of good physical fitness.
Yeah.
So I've been in a situation where my ability to have good stamina and my body to repair itself quickly literally saved my life. And so I've always been a huge fan of physical fitness. I'm
Because
not in
it's-
amazingly good shape, but I'm in pretty good shape.
And it's one of those things. It takes time to
So-
get in good shape, and
But it's also easier to stay in shape than it is to get in shape.
yeah,
True story.
yeah, definitely.
So it's harder for most people who allow themselves
Yeah.
to get way out of
And,
shape.
and a lot of people think it's just working out. It's not. Like, I mean, if you work out a lot, yeah, you can eat crappy or whatever.
But you can't outrun a bad diet.
Right. It will catch up with you. But if you eat healthy,
especially as you get older.
if you eat healthy, don't even do that because you've lost a ton of weight since I met you. So don't even do that. Give yourself,
used to be really fat.
Yeah, give yourself some
now
credit.
just kind of fat.
Give yourself some credit.
I think
John passed his PT test. I just want to bring.
Yep.
I want to bring
Slow
that
clap.
to life.
Slow
Very
clap.
good job. Very good job.
With my highest score in the Army.
Who
Good job,
cares if it was a
Steph.
completely 3-section profile PT test? Who cares?
You walk.
Who cares if it was a walk? Which actually, I did that walk once, and that's
It's no
hard.
joke, dude.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
like
easy.
my calves run, like the front.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Those are your shins on the
I was
front.
like, please, run.
My calves on the front.
What?
What's our next break?
Like whenever you want it to.
Okay.
I don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
But
So
it's
we
also
need to
here's
start
the thing
after we gotta wrap
here's
it
the thing
up.
about physical fitness. All right, it doesn't matter if you know what you're doing or not. Just get in the gym and do something. Go run, go lift, whatever.
Just go for a
And you know
walk.
what? Check
You don't
this out.
have to go to
A lot of
gym.
people are intimidated about the gyms or intimidated about working out because other people will judge me. Guess what?
They don't care
All those people that are gym rats, who are they looking at in the mirror?
themselves.
And you know what? Like I was that gym rat a while back, and I'm trying to get back to that point now. The only thing that I thought when I saw somebody out of shape or new come in the gym was like, awesome.
Yeah,
I hope they're here in a
Well,
month.
it's like when we do the Spartan and the other things that we do. There are people there that are out of shape. It's like,
oh yeah,
there's a part of you that wants to be like, but then you're like, the other part of your body, the other part of your mind outweighs that. It's like, you know what? Good on them for
That's
being
the
out of
one.
shape.
That's the person I want to run.
There's people
Yeah.
in better shape sitting at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
But just do something, eat health, like clean up the diet. Like it's so much easier.
Give
like
it a chemicals
being
and
in fit-
artificial stuff.
Right. You've had a good diet and then you gone and done something physical. And then you've probably ate like crap the day prior and then gone and done something physical. And there is a huge difference. And your body's an engine, give it good fuel, give it
Drink
premium.
water.
All right, we gotta take our last break. When we come back, Brian's topic.
I'll be sure to interrupt the hell out of that thing. It's hot garbage.
All right, we're gonna take a break and listen to the Arms Room.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in their life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Breaker, 19. How about that bandit? You got them ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
Would you like to own a thriving business and help employ local veterans? The Vetraplex Handyman Construction and Landscape business is the opportunity you've been waiting for. The Vetraplex is your gateway to an affordable startup business with 0% financing for qualifying owners. By owning a Vetraplex franchise, you will be hiring veterans, providing them both income and opportunity, while at the same time providing your customers a way to say, thank you for your service to our nation's veterans. For more information, visit vetraplex.org. Again, that's vetraplex.org or call 928-284-2022.
You're listening to The Arms Room on the Vets on Media Network.
All right, you're back with the Arms Room, and our topics of conversation today are all kinds of things. We've talked about diversity in training, then we talked about myths and misconceptions. Matt talked about something I have no idea because I was way too busy talking over him.
I think he was trying to talk about medical guys doing medical stuff in medical places.
Could be.
And just being physical specimens.
No, Matt,
so vain.
Matt talked about physical fitness, and now we're going to talk about Brian's topic. So Brian, go.
So Jason recommended on why green cans taste.
Oh
the
yeah,
best.
that's great. You know, that's awesome. You know,
So-
like you're saying.
Although that's a good topic, Jay.
Are you also an
go
expert on
with-
eating green crayons too, Matt?
and coloring books?
Yes.
So I actually want to talk about the misconception of martial arts type training versus self-defense versus what I call myth of women's self-defense. All right. The bottom line is, when it boils down to it, self-defense and competition fighting are not the same thing. It's
How
definitely.
dare you tell lies?
And
I just paid a couple $100 to some guy who said something else.
Yeah.
Army combatives is the
and
end all.
Did you sign the
Shut
contract
up,
for the full
Mason.
year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to buy a belt too.
I had to buy a belt too, and pay for my testing, and pay for my belts
And uniforms.
and uniforms. And then also the misconception of self-defense: men's self-defense, women's self-defense, elderly self-defense, crippled self-defense. Self-defense.
I don't
is-
think you can call people crippled.
I'm sorry. Is that
Handy capable.
Handicap.
handy capable?
Handy capable.
Did you see? Speaking of physical fitness, handy capable. Did you see the post I did recently?
Yeah, that's like the fourth time that video has been on in like 2
No,
weeks,
there's
bro.
every
What
time a
video?
new one comes out, I
But the
post
first
a new one.
time
It's
Brian
always a new
posted
one.
it.
Yeah, but it's worth seeing because
It is. It's
It
a good
has to
video.
do with both
Because I also
Brian
post
and Matt's stuff.
when I
Yeah.
post on there, I always post, your excuse is invalid or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I mean, you see these guys just doing
Like the
amazing.
dude with
Like,
the dude
I'm
with,
exhausted.
like, no arms
With- yeah.
on a chair doing like plyometric push-ups.
Well, if you pay attention, he's cut off at the thigh down, and he's cut off at the bicep down,
Yeah.
and he's holding his body out plank using 2 chairs to do push. It's insane. Anyway, good on you, bro. Because
Yeah.
physical fitness or not, I can't do that right now. It was super impressive. And then guys doing pull-ups with wheelchairs still attached, that extra. So the whole misconception, though, is that people want to take they want to separate the groups. They want to do women's self-defense. They want to do all this stuff. The bottom line is, when you get into the simplicity,
quit playing with the mic. Quit it.
you guys need to be watching today's show on YouTube.
No,
It's
keep
so
going.
much more entertaining.
I'm listening.
But when you apply techniques that actually work, and I'm not going to teach women's self-defense to women and teach them something where I'm teaching something that a 110, 125-pound woman can do to defend herself against an attacker.
Right.
And then even myself being 190 pounds with some fighting experience, go and be like, well, I'm going to do this really difficult thing because I'm a man, versus this really simple thing that's super effective. and so,
This has gone completely off the tracks.
like, it's a radio show, Matt. You have to talk your way through what you're doing, so everybody
I
understands.
don't want everyone
why
to know.
No, don't tell her that.
I
I'm
don't
so
want everyone to know.
distracted right now.
I don't want to share that moment.
Yeah, that was our moment. You guys are ruining it.
You guys are ruining it.
All right, go.
But the point is, I don't want to teach something that's super simple and extremely effective to one group, and then go to another group and be like, well, you guys are
So,
bigger and
okay,
stronger.
Hold on. I'm gonna jump in here for a second.
Please.
Just for a second.
Jump
Because I
in
have a
first.
little bit of fighting in my background as well.
Man.
So basically you're saying that you shouldn't teach women how to kick dudes in the nuts and then teach dudes how to break people's arms. Is that
That is absolutely
like that? You go
That
to a
is
women's
that.
self-defense class, they're like, put some pepper spray in your purse, kick them in the nuts, scream really loud, and blow your rape whistle.
That's what I do.
That is not my women's self-defense class.
I know that's not your women's self-defense class.
So-
I have
I
been
caught
to
that.
your
Right.
women's self-defense
You've been there.
class.
So let's talk about that too. If you are by chance a woman listening to the show and you're looking for a women's self-defense class, don't go to a class where they're teaching you arm bars and joint locks and kick a guy in the nuts and scream and run away. Yes, the last part of that is somewhat effective and something I would recommend over the other ones. But I've been as an observer to a women's self-defense class taught by women where they were teaching wrist locks And I was just blown away and had no choice but to get involved in this because I was like, why would you teach that? I don't understand. Well, that's how we learned it. I'm like, well, that's the countless hours that go into turning wrist locks, joint locks, arm bars, all that stuff into muscle memory. And then the situation that is so specific for them to become applied is stupid to do in a self-defense situation, especially when you consider the fact that if, you know, we talk about all the time, bad guys are professionals. They're looking for the easy money, the easy score, or the easy, you know, rape, whatever it is. I'm not going to walk up. They're not going to walk up and be like, face
Don't
to
look
face
at
with
me.
somebody.
Don't even.
I have no control.
I was looking at him. I'm like, I hope Glenn's looking at him too. And then I look back at it, I'm like, yes.
But they're not going to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to grab you from behind. And now all of those wrist locks that you set up for when somebody grabs your lapel front to front are absolutely useless.
Can I say a gripe about these like move? I don't know what you call them. So like Master Ken, he makes fun of it pretty well because they just stay still. Like and then John gets like 16 punches on like square in my face, and I just, you know, I don't move anymore. Like fighting is so much more dynamic than that. Not that I haven't been in like a whole lot of like actual street fights. I've been in some bar fights when I was in the Army, and I bounced for a little bit. But even bouncing is like, I'm sober, they're not. There's 8 of us.
There's a
couple
three of them.
Well, I mean, there was one time there was like 7 of them and 2 of us. But
you can look at it this from actually the attacker's mindset, because as a bouncer, you're not going to walk up to a guy face to face and get in a fist fight with him.
No,
if he's out of control, you and your buddy are going to walk up from behind him. You're going to pick him up
from behind the side,
and you're going to escort him out.
And if he's really going, we're going to sucker punch him from the side.
Strike first, strike fast, strike hard. Don't stop striking till the fight is over. That is one of my biggest philosophies when it comes to fighting. You know, and a lot of these joint manipulation techniques, they work really well, but they have to be set up. So I'm a big fan of what I call softening a target. Softening a target is striking. The first response to unwanted contact should always be striking instantly. Don't wait for bad things to happen before you defend yourself.
Don't take that advice, Glenn.
Oh, yeah, Glenn.
Raspberries.
Raspberries.
All right, inside joke real quick.
You guys are going to get punched in the face
for those
next week. I just want you to know.
For those that
since we have to share a hotel room, I'm going to sleep with a blade.
For the next,
you ain't got the only one ever built, homie.
Yeah, but I got the fastest one in town.
The fastest one in the hotel room, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the fastest one in that.
That's true.
Shock show we're talking.
So Glenn really, really, really
does not like being touched in a particular part of his area
near the nipples.
Near the nipples.
And like for those that are watching.
Oh,
no. Like John, totally fine.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Totally fine getting mine touched right now. If you come near
I'm actually a little jealous mine aren't getting touched right now.
He will freak out. He is the most defensive person.
The funny thing is, all you got to do is like touch it just right here. You know?
Yeah, and so we came up. He's
just touch his arm.
There's this thing called classical conditioning.
Yes,
and he is conditioned. If he hears the word raspberries, he starts tensing up because that was John and I's code word for let's attack Glenn's nipples. So if you're near Glenn and you're just like raspberries, you'll see him be like, rah! So anybody that ever meets Glenn from this point forward, just yell raspberries.
Self-defense. Now, if I ever get captured by the enemy, you know how they're going to torch me. Thanks for giving away all my secrets.
Yeah, no kidding.
On the air.
Raspberries.
Ow! Ow! Raspberries.
What do you want to know? I'll tell you everything.
I will agree with you in the sense that there is a lot, just like with shooting, just like with physical fitness, just like with the myths and misconceptions that John was talking about, there's a ton of BS out there about fighting. And everybody thinks MMA is the answer, or everybody thinks BJJ is the answer, or everybody thinks that their Krav is the answer, or that their boxing is the answer.
There is no one answer.
Or whatever. And that's the thing, is that there's no one way. I mean, I grew up doing martial arts, and martial arts and fighting are two very different things.
Yes, they are.
And if you're going to do a martial art, it needs to not be a point fight sparring system.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I grew up doing Taekwondo.
Yeah, I grew up doing Hawaiian Kempo, and everybody's like, "Oh, you must know how to fight." Like, no, I got my ass kicked in high school.
Yeah, like a lot.
Sorry, Mason.
In a point fighting system, I'm pretty freaking phenomenal. You know?
Right, because all I have to do is
touch him. And here's the problem with point fighting: A, they stop the fight every time you hit contact, and B, if all you train to do is that
you're
when it comes time, that muscle memory is going to kick in. And when it comes time to defend yourself, you're not going to hit anybody with any sort of authority.
Now, I'm not saying, however, that if you know a martial art and you go up against somebody that you should be like, oh, well, this is a useless skill. It's not a useless skill.
No, the
you should
thing about
apply what you know.
You should apply what you know.
I think it's good
Yeah,
for kids,
it teaches reaction times, and there's a level of
Like,
physical fitness. And
knowing
I was
something
kind
is better.
of a little brat where I probably
No.
shouldn't have learned how to choke kids out and do that kind of stuff. So I'm glad I was taught a martial art that really like more about discipline and stuff.
Like, you were a brat?
Yeah.
A lot of it, however, is just understanding,
I totally
like
believe that.
everything else we've talked about, it's about understanding the real world application of what you're doing. There's a lot of nonsense out there, and I think we've all talked about that on each one of our topics. We all picked that.
And even beyond the real world application, is the application to your situation,
your life.
Your situation, what you're capable of, what you do, how you handle yourself
Absolutely.
on a daily basis.
I got several guys with hand injuries. They can't throw punches. We do a lot of palm strikes because it doesn't injure yourself. So they can't do it. There's a lot of things. And so before I leave every class, I'm like, if there's something we did today that doesn't apply to your life, let's fix it. Let's make it apply to your life. And the same thing when we teach a small arms class, handgun, rifle. If you physically can't do this for your physical limitations, whatever they are, it's not a problem. There's plenty of things you can do. So let's fix it to your life and keep it simple.
Also, punching people in the face with your hand really hurts.
That's a bad
A
joke.
lot. Hit them in the mouth.
I like these movies where they're just like, wah, wah. I'm like, man,
Broken knuckles.
broken, like Snap
Do you
City,
see
man.
how freaking huge that thing is? That same knuckle's been broken 2 or 3 times.
All right, so that's our show.
I think that went well.
Hate to be that guy, but
It was good.
That went well.
Real good.
Mason, 30 seconds.
America.
Being a being an MP sound engineer is not as easy as it seems.
Does not stand for military police, stands for multi-purpose.
Ooh.
You
Nicely
forgot
done, sir.
tool.
Nice.
And tool.
He's going to murder all of us. In our
No, you're right. MPs suck.
This week on the arms room, he's going to walk in. This week on the arms room.
You don't have to worry about Sonny Fazekas anymore.
Only my mic's on so that they can't hear your screams.
All right.
That would go viral.
I think we could get over 1 million hits.
It's worth it.
I wouldn't benefit much. Well, let me put some armor on.
I might benefit for a little while.
All right. So
About 2 minutes.
just as a reminder, the show is brought to you by our friends over at
let me guess.
AR500 Armor.
Woohoo!
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Gonna be
Thanks.
seeing you at SHOT Show.
They're probably already up there.
They're already
They
up
are.
there.
They're already
They're
setting up.
Setting up. They're gonna have some of John's slings
Yeah,
at their
they're
booth.
going to be.
They're gonna have.
I hear those are like the best slings.
They are
on
like
it.
the best
They are.
slings.
Meh.
Yeah.
They're gonna have some Independence trainings.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
They're gonna have some
use them
Independence
myself.
trainings medical kits at their booth at SHOT Show.
Nice.
So lots of cool stuff, lots of fun we're going to have at SHOT Show. We will be back next week to give you our SHOT Show report about the cool new products that we saw. We will be talking about, a lot of the things that we were able to see and a lot of the new products coming out to the market so that you can get a real world perspective. There's going to be tons of blog posts and tons of YouTube videos. Most people go,
Oh, this is the greatest thing ever because they let me touch it.
like, we're not like that. We love to make fun of people's stuff, especially when it doesn't work.
Like canvas,
Awesome tourniquets.
Like nylon tourniquets.
Yeah, like nylon tourniquet that I got last year at SHOT Show. Holy cow. All right.
Nice spikes.
Nice save.
So we'll be back next week with our SHOT Show report. Until then, stay aware, stay safe, train hard. You've been listening to The Arms Room.
At the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Young rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, traitors.